good evening. Welcome to the show, the GG Allin Show. All right, tonight we're talking about GG Allin and his last day on Earth. It is, it's become a legend now, a myth, but it's based in reality, in fact, in truth. What is real? What is not? First, who was GG Allin exactly? Let's look back with two very interesting sort of appraisals of GG Allin here. This is by Greg Prato from July 30th, 2020. GG Allin, the gruesome life and tragic death of the most shocking man in music. So there's Jesus Christ Allin, who later became known as GG Allin. Having decided he'd take performances as far as they could go, having decided that he'd taken performances as far as they could go, GG Allin planned to off himself on stage, but he didn't live long enough to do it. Like his late older brother, Gigi, Merle is covered from head to toe in tattoos and has an affinity for long, scraggly facial hair. Merle was also the bassist in Gigi's last backing band, the Murder Junkies. GG Allin had a lot of backing bands, right? He was played with a lot of different groups over the years. As can be seen in the era's classic GG documentary, Hated, Merle went eyebrowless during this time and sported a mustache modeled after Hitler. I believe he still does to this day. He says, I still have people to this day that are afraid of me, admits Merle. I'm sure because Gigi's my brother, but because of my appearance too. I mean, let's be honest. Merle is noteworthy, famous, whatever, because his brother is GG Allin. And I don't know what kind of money Merle makes off of Gigi's music. I don't think the Junkies are bringing in too much revenue from what they're doing. And it's my understanding that Merle likes to sell trinkets, and that's what he does. He sells trinkets. I'm not a big fan of Merle, if I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not a fan of Gigi either, although I've made that abundantly clear before on the show. What's up, Mushroom Leg? Mushroom Leg likes Gigi. Gigi, the man, the myth, the legend, the fool. Amy's here. What's up, Amy? Thank you for the skulls. Josh says Jay Mascis from Dinosaur Jr. played guitar with him for a show and said it was not fun. Also, D.D. Ramone also played with GG Allin. Maybe we'll have to make that its own separate show. There were shows where we feared for our lives, admits Merle. People would love us before we went on, and by the time the show was over, they wanted to effing kill us. There were shows where we would finish, somebody would get in the van, and everybody would sneak out while people were throwing bottles, breaking windows, and flattening tires. We'd go through 2 or 3 vans a tour. I find that hard to believe. I mean, maybe it's true, but you have to imagine, where are they getting the money? Are they really making enough money to be buying 3 vans? There were plenty of shows where we got backed into a corner in a dressing room with no escape, and Gigi would just be covered in effing blood at the end of the show, and you'd be like, damn, how the F could he do that to himself? There was a show at the Space at Chase, Merle recalls, where he wound up breaking 2 kids' noses. Part of that's in Hated. One of them was underage, and the club ended up closing down a few weeks after. There were a few clubs around the country that Gigi was responsible for closing down. I don't know how he didn't die. The quest to raise the bar, but when you raise the bar that high with your performance, that is a really choice amount of words, raising the bar high. I don't really think GG Allin was raising the bar. If anything, he dug a hole 6 feet underground and then laid down inside of it and stared up at the bar. I don't mind speaking ill of the dead in this case. That was a question that Gigi pondered quite often during the last few years of his life. He would openly talk about ending it on stage. Instead, Gigi wound up dying from one of those situations where how people die death by misadventure. I'm sorry, I have to be very careful how I speak because YouTube loves to shadow ban videos like this and bury videos or demonetize videos. So he died in the way that many junkies die in mid 1993 at the tail end of another debauched tour. So what exactly was it that GG? What exactly was it that GG did that got his and his fans' blood boiling? It's a wild and woolly tale. Both Gigi and Merle were born in a small town. This is a whole history, but they had a crazy upbringing. Their father was insane. Their mother ran away. I'm sort of skipping through all this. Merle and Gigi played in some bands together. He was known as Jesus Christ Allin. They played in some bands. One of them was called Malpractice. Gigi got involved with the Jabbers. The Jabbers is the most interesting thing about Gigi, by far. That's the most interesting thing about Gigi. Everything else about Gigi, in my opinion, actually, Legs McNeil, Legs McNeil talks about GG Allin. It's very interesting to hear Legs McNeil and GG Allin. And what he says kind of sums up how I feel about GG Allin. But I will say the Jabbers period with that album, Always Was, Is, and Always Shall Be, is a masterpiece. It's really good. From top to bottom, those songs are great. And Merle was not in that band. Merle had left. Merle spent some time in Boston. He opened up for like the Dead Boys and stuff, and I don't know. As soon as he got on stage, he just transformed. While Merle and Gigi didn't play together during the 80s, Merle would check out performances by Gigi, who by now had transformed into a punk rock Tasmanian devil, taking Iggy's confrontational performance style to a whole new level. I mean, again, I hesitate to say something like a whole new level. There was nothing about this was not leveling up. This was leveling down. He would flip somebody's table over, go up to somebody and take their drink and pour it over their head and roll. I mean, that's just, I don't know. It just came to a point that the band were, the thing, here's the difference. I've talked about Gigi and Iggy before, comparing and contrasting. What the things that Iggy did, they came from this deep, emotionally genuine place. And for Gigi, it's almost like, I'm going to be the worst there is because there's nobody that is that worse. And therefore that's where I'm going to be in first place. It's almost like it's the lowest hanging fruit you could imagine. And I feel like there's no intrinsic artistic value to behaving that kind of way. That's my own personal opinion. It just came to a point that the band would rehearse, get a gig. The show would last 10 or 15 minutes. And the band just got totally fed up. They'd been putting out all this time and rehearsing and getting frustrated because Gigi would say, okay, tonight we're going to get through the set. I'm not going to do this and that. And then they get on stage and you couldn't control him. As soon as he got on stage, didn't matter what he told you, he just transformed. I mean, fine, sure. But again, I just feel in the same way that Iggy was inspired by Jim Morrison, maybe Gigi was inspired by Iggy, but whereas Iggy was like ascending, enhancing, transforming the confrontational antics of Jim Morrison and taking it to a new level in crowd interaction. I just feel like Gigi was like, oh, I'm just going to roll around in my shit because nobody else is going to do that. And that's what's going to make me special. It just, I don't know. It just doesn't, it just falls so flat for me personally. Despite having a daughter and being married, I believe he was not married to the mother of the daughter, by the way. He was married to a different woman. Gigi continued on he was estranged from that daughter. He was not a father to that daughter. He was a sperm donor. He basically lived on the road or whenever somebody wanted to invite him to do some recording. A tour for Gigi in the 80s was getting on a Greyhound bus and riding around the country and playing 2 or 3 shows in different towns with bands that would learn his songs. He was like the Chuck Berry of punk. He never really kept a solid band together. As a result, quite a few band names have been linked to Gigi shows. You got the Disappointments, the Toilet Rockers, the AIDS Brigade, and the Holy Men. Some of his best known albums were released during this time. There's a case in point on the DVD Live and Pissed, recorded in late 1988, a San Francisco gig GG, dressed only in a jockstrap and boots, continuously fights with fans, cuts himself with shards of broken glass, urinates, defecates. Oh yeah, right. She's going to do everything that Iggy does. Why does he poop on the floor? He poops on the floor because Iggy didn't do that. That's literally why he poops on the floor, you know? And it's like, there's something so lame about that. I'm going to do this because it's something you haven't done. Like, to me, there's nothing genuine about that to me. It just feels so lame. It just feels lame. GG Allin, he was drunk all the time, pissing the bed every night, drinking until he'd fall down. GG may have been making a name for himself in the punk underground, receiving accolades from Jello Biafra. Go watch my Jello Biafra video and Thurston Moore, but his personal life was in shambles by that point. Due to the nature of his eventual death, many assumed that dope was his vice. Merle, people have this idea that GG woke up and fell asleep with the needle in his arm, and that's just not true. He was drunk all the time, pissing in the bed every night, drinking until he'd fall down. Feeling that he'd reached his limit, GG decided that he was going to end it on stage and went as far as announcing the date that he was going to do it, October 31st, 1990. But fate interrupted what would have been his most gruesome performance ever when he was sentenced to jail in Michigan. Oh, how convenient, right? How utterly convenient. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, oh, I'm going to do this crazy, shocking thing, which no one should ever do because you matter and life matters. And if you've ever been touched by that stuff, you know how heavy it is. So I don't mean to make light or dismiss anything of the sort, but it always felt like an act to me. You know, GG's death was not intentional. It was death by misadventure. It was an accidental situation. And the idea of him actually going through with that on stage, I just don't think. He was conveniently in jail from 1990 through 1992. So 2 years in a row, 3 years if you want to count the year 1990, 1991, 1992, all 3 years was not able to follow through with what he said he was going to do. So what does that tell you? GG got arrested in 1989 for intent to commit bodily harm. That basically stemmed from some party this chick invited him and his band to, and she wanted to screw everybody in the band. And then when it got time to get down to what she really wanted, which was for someone to treat her rough, he treated her rough. They didn't have the communication lines open. They were all drunk, and it turned into a night of hell. I'm not going to read the next part, but if you want to read about what he did monstrous things to this girl. And I mean, he mutilated this girl, basically. So when people like revere and worship GG Allin, I mean, this guy was, he was a woman beating, mutilating piece of shit. Like, that's the bottom line. Sorry. She called the cops a bunch of times. They came. She would tell them to go. In the end, she wanted to marry GG. And when he said no, I guess she decided to get revenge and turn him in. That's the story. But again, he tortured her. I mean, he tortured this woman, while in jail for 2 years, the date of his planned ending came and went. He wasn't going to end himself in prison. That would have been anticlimactic. During his prison stay, GG had largely sobered up and shaved off his long, unkept hair. By the time he was released from jail in 1991, he was a new man, but meaner and angrier. Merle could sense GG's pent-up aggression would translate to further on-stage pandemonium. For the first time since the late 70s, the two Allin brothers were bandmates once more. The Murder Junkies were formed shortly thereafter, with the guy called Chicken John joining as guitarist, who recommended a drummer, Dino. And if you've ever seen any of these documentaries, Dino is a weird guy. He's got a weird neon yellow mustache. It looks like a piss mustache with red mutton. I'm just a freak. I'm sorry, but it's true. He's just a freak. And Merle and Dino are still out there writing songs called like Piss Drunk Jew. I mean, these guys are just unsavory, man. Then we fired Chicken because we hated him. So they're talking about all the different iterations. Cincinnati transplant. Then they placed, so the Murder Junkies placed an ad in the Village Voice, which resulted in the hiring of a pair of guitarists, Cincinnati transplant Bill Weber and Dee Dee Ramone. Merle, me and Gigi were just like, man, we gotta have Dee Dee because he's Dee Dee. but you know what? We got to have Weber because Weber's a great guitar player. So we were just like, we'll turn down Dee Dee's amp a little bit just to make sure Weber drowns him out. Between the twin guitar Murder Junkies lineup, but the twin guitar Murder Junkies lineup lasted for only a few rehearsals before Dee Dee flew the coop. Because Dee Dee Ramone was like, even Dee Dee Ramone, who was just absolutely out of his mind, was like, this is not for me. And it's like, Merle and Gigi weren't even fit to drink the piss from, the urinal that Dee Dee Ramone used after a long night of drinking. Like, just the idea of Dee Dee degrading himself to play with the Junkies, like that is just so unsavory and unsettling to me. But, he was out of the Ramones, right? He'd done Dee Dee King, and now here he is. I don't know. So it was around this time that up-and-coming filmmaker Todd Phillips, who would end up making like old school, he did a bunch of stuff. He did the Hangover movies. Todd Phillips was at an NYU student, I believe, and he began shooting GG and his adventures in hopes of putting together a documentary. That documentary would become the cult classic Hated. And if you've never seen Hated, probably, here's the interesting thing. The most interesting thing about GG Allin is actually, besides the jabbers, I would say, is actually the documentary about GG Allin. So Todd Phillips actually made the most interesting GG Allin thing, not Gigi. GG Allin put out a ton of music. He was very prolific and he recorded with a bunch of bands and put out a bunch of records. None of it is interesting when compared to the documentary that's about GG Allin. So the GG Allin documentary is far more interesting than GG Allin himself. Okay. GG Allin, how rock's all-time anti-mainstream artist was suddenly embraced by the mainstream. So the Murder Junkies hit the road with GG opting to skip Parole. What followed was typical GG style shows. Every show was crazy, Merle recalls. There was one show at a skate park with 17 kids that got arrested. They were all underage and drinking, and Dino and GG both got arrested. So we had to bail GG out because we couldn't go on without GG, but we didn't have enough money to bail them both out. We bailed GG out. We went down to Atlanta, picked up a drummer, and used him to play the show. Then we drove back to Dalton, Georgia, picked up Dino, and then drove to New Orleans for our next show. But it was only a matter of time until GG was hauled in for jumping parole. During our 1992 tour, he got arrested in Austin for lewd behavior. All the things that GG does on stage, the cops came and arrested him. They decided they would extradite him back to Michigan, and he served out the remainder of his sentence another year. So March 1992 until April of 93, we basically recorded Brutality and Bloodshed. And when he came out of prison, he had the lyrics all written and he just put them to music. A month later, we were out on the road again. Unlike after his first prison stay, when GG was freed this time, his health appeared to be on the decline. Me and GG were in Chicago. This was the next to last date of the tour, late June of 1993, and he just looked bad. He had been out on the road for a month, abusing himself. We talked about him dying and about his funeral, and GG was like, when I die, you guys better have a fucking party. GG got his wish soon enough, but not before playing arguably his most violent show ever. Delightfully captured on video and included in Hated. So we're going to put a pin in it right here because we're now going to move over to our next piece that talks more about GG. But before we do, let's take a very quick moment to talk about Riot Stickers. Yes, Riot Stickers is the official channel, the official sponsor of the Frumess channel. If you go to riotstickers.com/Frumess, you can get 1,000 stickers for $79. So if you like GG Allin as much as you might think you might like him, you can get his face plastered on some stickers. Maybe Merle will try and sue you if you don't get his permission. I don't know who is in control of GG Allin's estate. I would imagine it's Merle. So you got to check with Merle first, but Merle might want to say that. Maybe you have to give Merle 50% of your stickers. You go to riotstickers.com/Frumess, Frumess, and get 1,000 stickers for $79 with free shipping. Vinyl stickers, waterproof. They got a good UV coating. They're great. RIOTstickers.com.
We make stickers, banners, and buttons too. Posters and promo cards. There's nothing we can't print for you. From stage backdrops to bass drum heads. We can print on shirts. We can print on hats. We can print on pants. Cheap prices and high quality. Quick turnaround times and free shipping. We also offer free artwork support. Great customer service and so much more. RIOTstickers.com. Riot Stickers, we are the bomb. RIOTstickers.com. Riot Stickers, we are the bomb. RIOTstickers.com. Riot Stickers, we are the bomb. RIOTstickers.com. Riot Stickers, we are the bomb.
And that is a promise. Okay. Let's this is GG Allin's final interview on the Jane Whitney show, okay? From 1993. This was taped 4 days before GG died. And we're not going to, it's 43 minutes. I'm not going to watch the whole thing here, but we're just going to take a look, just a little look-see, a little peek-see, if you will, just for reference, since we're making this show about GG's file. So this was 4 days before he passed away. So here we go. Let us listen in.
About the program you're about to watch. Our first guest, GG Allin, has been called the most violent man in rock and roll. Some of what you're about to hear may not be suitable for children. Also, 4 nights after GG Allin taped this broadcast, he gave his last concert here in New York. As usual, his performance was fraught with the onstage violence that had become his trademark. The next day, GG Allin was found dead. A police investigation is underway into the cause of his death, but a drug overdose is suspected. What follows is GG Allin's last interview. Parental discretion is strongly advised. This rock musician says he has more power over your children than you do.
I have such a fierce, intense fire burning inside of me. It was so much that just wants to explode.
GG Allin brags he's on his way to becoming the leader, the messiah for America's youth. He already claims to have 1 million followers. Wherever he goes, he plays to sell out crowds. And this is what they see. Concerts filled with violence, bloodshed, and sexual assault. GG Allin wants to lead America's young people in a bloody revolution to take over the country. And he says nothing can be done to stop him. Why is that, GG?
Nobody will stop me because I am the true underground messiah. When you come to my show, you're going to a war. And I'm out for violence, chaos, lawlessness all the way. I don't care about anybody or anything except for myself and my mission. And your kids out there, if you got kids out there, they're going to be my kids. I'm going to own those kids. They're going to do anything that I say.
And why is that? Why do they do anything you say?
Because I'm the king, and they can identify with me, because the real true nonconformist children in this country are sick and tired of their parents, their schools, their people force-feeding them what to do. I am the answer. When they listen to my lyrics and they listen to my songs,
I have to agree. He really does. He does sound like he's a wrestler doing a promo, and I have no idea why he has a walking stick.
They're listening to the way that it really should be, and you know that, and I know that, so don't brain, because your kids are my kids.
All right, I don't mean any disrespect here. I had never heard of you before we were going to do this show, okay? And I did a lot of reading about you, all right? Now, I want to know, you seriously mean what you're saying?
Absolutely.
This is not an act.
I've been doing this ever since I was a child. This is what you see is what you get. I do this when I wake up tomorrow morning. I'll still smell.
Oh, that's his dad. His dad was insane, dude. His dad was a friggin' psycho.
The same way, I'll still look the same way. This is not a show. This is not an act. I am that guy.
Now, do you honestly believe?
Man, he seems like he's fronting so hard, dude.
Yes.
That you're a charismatic figure?
I believe that I am the king. I am the messiah. I rule the rock and roll underground. I'm bringing us to a revolution against the government, against the police, against any form of society that is trying to put us down and restrict us in any way, shape, or manner.
Let me tell you something about GG Allin. This is the honest truth. If GG Allin was alive today in post 2020, he would be the most popular guy on TikTok and YouTube. Everybody would be talking about GG Allin. I'm not kidding. I'm really not kidding. Maybe some of his antics would be, people would be trying to cancel him or whatever you want to call it. But make no mistake, people would be all about friggin' GG Allin would be in the conversation. Why? Because he's the first idiot to, degrade himself for, views. People would turn to GG. I mean, GG would be right next to Kim Kardashian. Like, that's what I think. Telescope disagrees and said that he'd be like Varg. I don't think so, man. I really don't. I think he would be, in fact, I bet you. Forget it. Let's keep watching.
You cannot conform. You must be a true nonconformist. To hell with what your parents have to say.
Okay.
I am the man.
Okay.
That all you have to do is listen to what I have to say.
Okay, well, who told you were the Messiah?
I said I was.
Okay.
And I am, because these kids, I get letters from all over the world. People worship me. They come to my shows. I'm going to rape the girls. I might rape the guy.
Oh, shit. All right. Well, that's enough of that. I mean, like, he really is. He sounds like a megalomaniac. That's what this is, like megalomania. You know what I mean?
I might have sex. I want it all. I want it all, and I'm going to have it all.
Okay, let me ask.
Because I am everything.
All right, yeah. You go way beyond sex, drugs, and rock and roll in your performances. You self-mutilate on stage.
I self-mutilate. I beat the out of my audience if they're in my way. I take them out. I don't care. I don't care about anybody or anything. When you come to my show, I'm the boss. I'm the king. You do what I say. You can challenge me. I have no problem with that. I like the confrontation.
Yeah.
But you're going to lose.
All right. Are you proud of what you do?
Absolutely proud of what I do.
Why are you proud of what you do?
Because
Amy agrees with me. He'd be TikTok famous. Mushroom, I don't know if you were here when I was reading before what he did to that girl, whether he had, essayed someone or not. Well, he tortured and mutilated a girl, dude. Like, whether it was consensual or not. Like, I mean, and his lyrics, I mean, he was just a piece of shit.
I am who I am, and I'm not a phony like everybody else out there. I am real. And how many of you can, at 35 years old, sleep with 16, 12, 13-year-old girls and boys and animals? Hey, this is the life.
And, did he ever actually do that? I don't know, but like, he's either saying that to get a rise. I'm telling you, he would be TikTok famous. Like, this guy would be in a world where we reward like Logan and Jake Paul. If you know who they are, they're YouTubers. Like, Logan and Jake Paul are rewarded for just being like the worst pieces of shit ever. Like, GG Allin would fit in perfectly with this society.
Hey, I got it all, and I got your kids.
You worried about him, audience, or what? Yeah?
You better be.
I mean, to an extent, Mushroom, like said before, he's playing the heel. He is kind of playing the heel. He's doing like a wrestling heel thing a little bit. But that's what makes this so disingenuous, because this, like, again, what you see of Iggy Pop, when Iggy Pop is on stage and he, stabs himself in the chest with a drumstick, he does so because he genuinely feels the urge and need to do it because he's possessed by some rock and roll demon. And I just feel like GG Allin is the, all right, there's a great quote. There's a great quote by Oscar Wilde, but we always hear we only hear part of the quote. We never hear the full quote. Hold on, let me get that Oscar Wilde quote up. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? The Oscar Wilde quote, imitation. Here, let's see what here it is. Ready? The full quote is, no, it only gives me half the quote. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. Yeah, sorry. So here it is. So normally you hear this quote from Oscar Wilde. imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. The idea that GG Allin is imitating Iggy Pop, but it's the sincerest form of flattery that mediocrity can pay to greatness. Okay, that's the full quote. So let me take that one more time. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery that mediocrity can pay to greatness. And that's exactly what GG Allin is doing to say someone like Iggy Pop. It is don't let the truth get in the way of a good story. Oddly enough, my father reminds me of Vark. Yeah. Well, sorry to hear that about your father. Sounds a little crazy. Hey, some of us, we all deal with stuff. That's stuff.
How many of you aren't worried? How many of you think this is so ridiculous your kids would never buy into it?
Okay, well, come on. Come on, I'll take you on. Well, run right now. Come on.
All right, simmer down.
Come on down.
Simmer down.
He sounds like, come on now. I do what I want. I do what I want. He's Eric Cartman, man. I do what I want.
We'll see, won't we?
All right. This sounds like it sounds like you're real angry.
I've been angry since the day one. I knew the day I was born.
Why are you so angry?
I just hate everybody. There's no need for me to like everybody. Everything that I have in this world, I put back into number one. I am number one. I don't need to give anything.
He's not even like, what's funny about him? Like, there's no message. He's not saying anything. His music doesn't say anything. At least Iggy Pop in his music, when you listen to the Stooges, No Fun, 1969, like that, their Death Trip is saying something. Raw Power is there's nothing is being said in a GG Allin song. Nothing. Real. I mean, maybe the jabbers. I'm so bored to death. Girls are so unpredictable. Cherry Love Affair. All right, enough of this. I think we've sort of run the gambit here. So now that brings us to the next part of our show. We haven't done a show like this in a long time where we go to different parts, different avenues and things. Okay, so this is from Vice. I hate Vice. I really hate Vice, but we're just going to go with it because this is a Legs McNeil article, and I love Legs McNeil. He's a great author, great journalist. Legs McNeil wrote this on December 31st, 2013 at 10 a.m. Art by Brian Walsby. I know Brian Walsby. Well, I don't know him, but I know of him. I love what Legs McNeil says about GG Allin. This is how I feel about GG Allin to an extent. He says, I never paid much attention to GG Allin when he was alive. By the way, this article is called GG Allin's Last Day on Earth. Legs McNeil says, I never paid much attention to GG Allin when he was alive because I thought he was a talentless bottom feeder who would do anything to get attention. Consequently, I never bothered with his music and stayed away from reading about him. I mean, compared to my pals in the Ramones, what could Allin possibly have to offer? GG seemed like a spectacular mess who was just taking up space until he ended himself. I didn't really need any more garbage heaps in my life, but after he died, my best friend Tom Hearn told me that he had hung out with GG a few times in New Haven, Connecticut, and that he was a nice guy. Really? I asked Tom, intrigued that I let my preconceived notions keep me from checking Allin out. I love it when my prejudiced ideas get shattered and I have to take another look. Yeah, Tom told me. He was like this incredible asshole on stage, just fighting and screaming and shitting on everyone. But off stage, he was really nice. He was kind of like a more violent, fucked up version of Joey Ramone. You know how Joey was so incredibly focused on stage? And then when we were hanging out with him, he was funny as shit. Well, GG was kind of like that. I thought maybe I was wrong about the guy. And this is maybe where I disagree with Legs McNeil. Legs says, when I was doing a reading tour of the South last winter, I became friendly with Johnny Puke from Charleston, South Carolina, where he books and manages the Tin Roof, a fun, dumpy punk club. Johnny told me that he was with Gigi the night he died, and I thought it would be an interesting story to get on tape. So I asked Johnny if I could interview him sometime. Johnny said yes, and last October, just as it was getting really cold outside, I headed back to Charleston to interview Johnny Puke. This is his report. So, and this is the beauty of being an interviewer. And listen, I would never compare myself to like McNeil, but in my work of interviewing people, and I've interviewed people, the people that I didn't interview on YouTube specifically, getting stories on tape for me is, I feel like it's really important work. And, you know, whether it's about someone as unsavory as GG Allin, because again, the most interesting thing about GG Allin is really that documentary, as I said, but also really his last day on earth. That's probably the most interesting thing about him. The irony that this guy wanted to end himself, but didn't end himself because he did it accidentally, you know. Robbie Bloodshed's here. He says, just joining in now. Don't know if you touched on it yet. He was not talentless, though. Always, no, I've already, Robbie, we've discussed this ad nauseum. I did notate earlier that record is immaculate. That one record is my one sort of like, whatever you want to call it. That's the one thing where I'll go, hey, GG and the Jabbers, fucking flawless. Like, really, truly, I agree. I love every song on that record. That's a record that I can play all the way through from start to finish. The songs are fun, snotty, punky. The musical arrangements are good. It's just, it's good music, man. That cannot be denied. No matter how much distaste I have for GG Allin, that cannot be denied. But the idea again, and you have to imagine the archive to go back to this, the archive that Legs McNeil has is just like that, this vast archive of stories of rock and roll. And he really, I think over the years has done the Lord's work, you know, in terms of, you know, cataloging and capturing these important testimonies, you know. GG Allin's final mission, which he was trying to accomplish before he went to prison, was that he would do his final performance on Halloween night of 1991 and then off himself on stage. So people began making plans to find out where that show was going to be because of all these people who wanted to see GG Allin end it on stage, or at least see what was going to happen. But what happened, of course, was that he was in prison on Halloween for the next few years. So this made his promise null and void. I had heard of GG Allin long before that because of Maximum Rock and Roll magazine, but they always just said that he was this vile, offensive jerk, not worth your time. And when you're a little kid, you took what Maximum Rock and Roll said seriously because they were the last word in punk. But when I got into college, I started to think outside of the confines of what punk magazines were telling me I was supposed to think. Mind you, this is also where you can, you know, this is also pre-internet. This is how you're getting your news, right? So you got to listen to Maximum Rock and Roll because unless you're at the show, you don't have an account of what happened. You know what I mean? I had heard of, oh, I already said that, right. I started writing to GG and we got friendly through the mail. I must have written him over 100 letters. He wasn't particularly living anywhere. He was staying in Chicago with this really cool girl, Sharon Rose, who kept a permanent address for him. He wasn't really playing that much, but then he wrote me that he was coming to New York to play a show and invited me up. I was probably a 12 or 13-hour drive from West Virginia, and I decided I'm going to do it because this really was my entry into punk rock, you know? When GG got out of jail, the rumor resumed, and everybody was looking forward to seeing GG off himself. I talked to GG about it a little bit, but he was never really forthcoming with me. Sometimes he would give me a vague answer. Once he said that fire was going to be involved. He hinted to me that he might take other people out with him. I'll tell you this. Merle said that when it came down to that final show, that the Murder Junkies weren't going to be in on it because Merle wasn't going to knowingly play a final show where he knew that his brother was going to end himself. By this time, 1992, I was living in New York and I started hanging out with Gigi and Dee Dee Ramone, who was living at the Chelsea Hotel at the time. Dee Dee was going to be the guitar player for Gigi's band, but that lasted about a week because obviously it wasn't going to work out. There was then there was the last year of his career. I think all these people thought maybe tonight is going to be Gigi's last night because now he wasn't saying he was going to off himself on Halloween. He was saying you get what you deserve and you get it when you deserve it. He was saying, I'm not going to do anything based on what you want me to do or when you want me to do it. I'm going to do it when I want to do it. So that added to the excitement of every one of these shows. These people were on a death trip, paying $10 a head to see if maybe this guy was going to off himself tonight. So again, it's like, instead of like actually focusing on writing good music or doing something that's interesting in some way, shape, or form, he's just being like, hey, I'm going to do this on stage and you're coming to my shows and paying money to come see me because you're hoping to see bloodshed. That's why you're doing this. You're not doing this because there's nothing about me artistically interesting. You just like watching a freak show. And that's why I think GG Allin sucks. That's why I think he sucks. That's why I think that you can't even compare him to Iggy Pop, who is artistically interesting and conceptually doing something where GG Allin is doing nothing. The final show, though we didn't know it, was booked at the gas station in the East Village, which was this sort of a sculpture place directly across the street from my apartment on Avenue B and 2nd Street. I lived there with my girlfriend, and Gigi was in town with his girlfriend. This is a different person, I think. I don't think this is the same guy as this Johnny Puke guy. Maybe it is, because he says he invited Johnny Puke to drive 13 hours or whatever. So whatever. The final show, though we didn't know it was the final show, it was booked at the gas station in the East Village, which was this sort of a sculpture place directly across the street from my apartment on Avenue B and 2nd Street. I lived there with my girlfriend, and Gigi was in town with his girlfriend, a young girl named Liz, a pretty cool chick who was following him around. When he first got back to New York, he tried to stay with Merle, but Merle was getting sick of him. So he and Liz had checked into the St. Mark's Hotel, and that's where he was staying. So Gigi says to me, tomorrow we'll come over to your place before the sound check. We'll sort of use your place like a dressing room, and then we'll go to the show and we'll hang out later. The next day, Gigi came over really early, like noon or 1 o'clock, and the whole band was there. And Richard Kern came by to take photographs. So the friggin' Richard Kern was there taking photographs. I didn't know that. People were coming and going all day. So the band was hanging out, and we don't have anything to do because the sound check keeps getting pushed back later and later. I was like, I'm bored. Let's get some Coke. So I go to one of these little deli places that sells Coke across the street. You know how that goes. Now, every 45 minutes, I'm going back across the street for another bag of blow. So we're drinking beer and listening to music and actually having a really good afternoon. By this point, Gigi is getting really wired. We're all getting really wired, but he gets super wired before a show. Gigi had an internal process he went through where he just ratcheted himself up to be 10 foot tall and ruthless so that he could perform. And the Coke was adding to that. We went over to do the sound check around 5 or 6, and there was time to do the show. A bunch of bands had played, but we had been over in my apartment doing Coke and missed them. Anyway, Gigi gets on stage and immediately breaks a microphone. So the sound guy says, show's over. I'm not going to do this. There's all these people there, and Gigi is furious. He starts yelling at the sound guy and threatening him. So the sound guy and his dog barricaded themselves in the sound booth behind this steel gate. And Gigi's throwing mics at him and calling him a pussy and trying to call him out. Somehow, Gigi got another mic, and the show went on for a little while. It was a 3-song show, and Gigi was on fire. He punched out a couple of people and then he shit on himself and then smeared it all over everything and then was throwing shit at people. That's a great way to spend your last day on Earth. There were about 200 people there, and right after the show started, they all ran for the courtyard. So there's only about 10 people left watching the show. Those are the people that did not mind getting smeared with shit and feces. Somebody got punched out and there was a scuffle, and now GG doesn't have a mic. He was frustrated that he's not even going to be able to perform on the show that he has ratcheted himself up for. So he starts taking it out on the crowd. He chases the people out to the courtyard yelling, "They won't even let me finish my show." GG was trying to attack anyone that's close. So the crowd got angry, mad that they waited all afternoon and didn't even get to see the headliner. They were out in the courtyard where there was a recycling container full of bottles, and they just started throwing the bottles. It was raining Molotov cocktails, and we were having to duck and try to figure out how the fuck we're going to get out of there. So GG chased the crowd out of the courtyard and onto the street, which became a riot of crazy people screaming and yelling. There were like 75 to 100 people out on the street flipping out. GG was wearing Liz's short skirt, no underwear, and these combat boots covered in blood and shit. Then GG lay down in front of a city bus on Avenue B, and the bus couldn't pass. Everybody was running around like crazy. GG was laying down in the street, and by now we can hear the cops coming. And I believe there's video. We have video of this that we're going to review next. That's the last part of the show. GG tried to get away, but he wasn't super New York savvy, and was having trouble to find his way back to the St. Mark's Hotel. The whole crowd was following him, and the police were following him, and he's wearing a skirt with no underwear. Covered in shit. GG was trying to walk down Avenue B, and there was kind of a march that he's leading. But GG didn't want to be leading a march. He just wanted to get away. He yelled, "Quit following me, quit following me." But they didn't stop following him. He hailed a cab in front of a bank, gets in, and the cabbie freaked out. The cabbie was just skeeved out, and he wouldn't go. So they had to get out of the cab. Meanwhile, there's people on the four corners of the block screaming and yelling while the cops were looking for who's causing this ruckus. Finally, GG hailed another cab safely. GG hailed another cab safely and made it back to the St. Mark's Hotel. Me, my girlfriend, and the band went out to eat at this barbecue place right on Houston, and I was going to catch up with GG later. The promoter of the show had given GG a bundle of dope, which is 10 little bags. So GG had the dope, and he told me, "I'll find you later, and we'll go back to your house and we'll party." So I go to the St. Mark's Hotel to collect GG and Liz, but he's with Bobby Ebbs from Genocide. Oh my God, I didn't realize with Bobby Ebbs. Whoa, I did not know that. I should ask Pete Marshall about this, who was a GG Allin nut and a real hanger-on. That's strange to me that's like that. Who just wanted to be around GG, hoping he'd buy drugs for him and his girlfriend. GG was really happy to see me walk up and say, "Let's get the fuck out of here right now." At about 11:30, we took a cab and went back to my apartment to start partying. It was just me, my girlfriend, GG, and Liz. And GG's got all this dope from the promoter, and we start snorting it. And I think GG would have preferred to shoot it, but I didn't do that. I was phobic of needles. So he knew I was just a big snorter, and we were drinking Jim Beam and running across the street and getting more beers. It was a good night. We were talking about arranging a spoken word tour of Europe for both of us. Neither GG nor I had ever been to Europe, and this tour would be an excuse to go there and cause trouble. We probably stayed up partying until 2 or 3 in the morning, but GG was the first to fall asleep, probably around 1. He was asleep on the floor, and this was a little apartment, and he was snoring super loud. Liz, me, and my girlfriend stayed up talking and listening to him snore for another hour. Finally, we set Liz up on the futon, and me and my girlfriend went to sleep on the bed, which is only a few feet away. We went to sleep to the sound of GG snoring, so I had no need to be alarmed. He wasn't blue. He didn't vomit. He was just snoring. But in the morning, at about 9 o'clock, Wiz wakes me up and says, I think there's something wrong with Gigi. I went over to where Gigi was laying, and he was wearing a cutoff jean jacket, Liz's skirt, those boots, and a silver Nazi helmet that he loved. It was his most prized possession. He left the Nazi helmet at my house before the show because he loved it so much and did not want to lose it. So I go to him, and he's cold and he's stiff and very dead on my floor. I was still a little high from the night before, so I was confused, but I'm good in a crisis. I can focus on what has to be done. Little things drive me nuts. If I lose my keys, I go nuts. But if my grandfather dies, suddenly I'm going to organize everything and pay for it later. The first thing I did before anything was grab the remaining dope and run up to my roof to hide it because I knew what was going to happen next. Could you imagine? This is super fucked up of me to say, but could you imagine if you had held on to the dope that ended up killing GG Allin, like as like a collector's item, like this is the bundle of dope that killed GG Allin, like that probably, I mean, it would be priceless. It kind of belongs in the Rock and Roll Museum, I think, you know. I don't know if that's kind of gauche to say. It is. I kind of regret saying it. Especially having been touched by so many who have lost their life in that kind of way. I've known a lot of people who have gone out that way. Still, the thought did cross my mind just now, maybe as a defense mechanism of like reading this, because it's actually kind of heavy to read this. Either which way, could you imagine being in possession of that artifact? It's an artifact. That's the way I think of it. In the same way of having like the hotel key of like Sid Vicious to the Chelsea Hotel where he murdered Nancy. You know what I mean? Something like that. So the first thing I did before anything was grab the remaining dope, run up to and hide it because I knew what was going to happen next. Then I called Merle Allen and I told him and called the police to tell them. I told the cops, I think we have a death here. I think we have a death here. But I don't know if I ever admitted to the police that I was high as well. I wasn't afraid that the cops would charge me with murder. I was more afraid of getting busted for drugs, you know. Gigi obviously was my really good friend, and there were more than a few people to say that I had no reason to kill him. So I wasn't really afraid of that. So they sent this cop over to determine that Gigi was dead. Then all the cops flooded my little apartment, and there was a cop standing outside my door for a couple hours. Finally, they put Gigi in a body bag. It was a 5th floor walk up, and they carried him down the stairs. It took a couple of guys because Gigi was a big fellow. They carried him down the street and put him in the wagon and drove him off to the morgue. One thing that I hadn't thought about that looked really weird and suspicious was that after Gigi fell asleep, Liz, my girlfriend, and I all took Polaroids of us laying next to Gigi that we were going to show him in the morning. We were cuddling with him and smiling in the photos. Well, the police found the Polaroids and confiscated them. And then we had to go down to the 9th precinct to tell our version of the story. Again, like crazy artifacts. Imagine a coffee book of those Polaroids. Why am I trying to capitalize on the death of Gigi? At first, they were very suspicious of us. The cops were like, what kind of fucking person lies down with a corpse and smiles and waves? That's a good point. We had to explain that although he was in the exact same position, he wasn't dead and that he was snoring, but boy, did that not look too good for us. Now I can kind of get a kick out of it, but at the time it seemed like, fuck, that's really sick. Anyway, when all this was over, they found that none of us did anything criminal. I tried for weeks to get those Polaroids back, but the cops just refused, and I don't know what ever happened to them. I'm sure they're in a folder somewhere at the 9th precinct. I think Gigi would have thought that it was funny. I think that he would have loved that story. He'd be like, the police thought that Johnny Puke was posing with my corpse. So it was Johnny Puke the whole time. This article was written by Punk magazine co-founder Legs McNeil. It originally ran in Vice, which has shamelessly been ripped off, which has shamelessly been ripping off Punk magazine since 1994. So there's one final piece to this whole situation. I rustled up. It's here. We have the footage from the gas station show. So this is, not only is this the footage, this is the last footage of GG Allin, like alive, pretty much ever. So what you're watching is of great significance in the sense that, like, this is the final, these are the final hours of GG Allin's life that were caught on camera. And it's kind of amazing when you think about that, when you really consider the fact that you have this document of something that, I don't know, it's just strange. We're not gonna, it's 49 minutes. I'm not gonna watch the whole thing. It is available on the Internet Archive. So yeah. So we heard Johnny Puke's entire story. So this is them. They had been partying and doing coke, and now they're down at the venue, and the sound guy has sort of locked himself up, and Gigi's pissed off, and he's looking for a microphone.
Here we go. Right. Get over here. Hello. This is what we're using. Go ahead. All right. Well, let's check it like this. The two that I brought aren't working. It's my fault. Maybe I'm the side show with no backup. Why we just check this stuff now, please?
When you do a sound check, you're sound checking for your show. Why should we play?
Well, my mics happen to not work. You know,
Oh, so maybe this is the sound check before the show? I don't know.
Somebody's bringing two microphones, just they're not here right now.
right here. They don't work.
They don't work though.
Was that from smoking somebody? Like, no,
I just think this is ridiculous.
Would you just check now?
Why should we check when we're not going to have the fucking equipment to play with? What the fuck's the good in doing this? Check.
don't give him a hard time.
Don't give me a fucking hard time. This is my fucking
I'm fucking even own equipment.
I mean, I guess the best way to describe this is like fly on the wall. This is just fly on the wall footage, right? You know, there's nothing really going on. Let's sort of scrub through this a little bit. I think now they're playing. Is he saying that I kill everything that I fuck? Like, I mean, musically, this is so uninteresting to me musically. It really is. I would never listen to this. Winston Smith here says it perfectly. I just can't find anything to look up to in this artist. GG sucks. Oh, Winston, you're the best. So this is later on in the show. I guess that was a sound check, right? Like that must have been the sound check, and this is the actual show.
Jesus Christ, we got 3 motherfucking lights. A fucking...
This is going to get really like unsavory. So if you don't like unsavory stuff, I would advise you to stop watching at some point very soon. This is just fly on the wall. That's all this is. Just fly on the wall.
What are we doing? Okay, we're doing highest power.
No, I mean, nobody's there for the music. They're there because he's like, he's a freak show. That's why they're there. I mean, mind you, like, I guess if I had the ability to see GG Allin live, I mean, I was 8 years old when this show happened, but like, if I had the ability to have seen GG Allin live, I probably would have gone. Because I would, so I could say, yes, I saw GG Allin live and it was like a freak show, and I'll tell you about why it was a freak show. It's currency, you know, it's some kind of currency. Oh, there we go. There we go. It's happening. Let's just skip over that part. Ah, fuck it, whatever. Oh. My God. Yeah, they're like, that's it. They just want to touch him. They're like, I touched, you know, GG. I could say I touched Iggy Pop. It's true. I jumped on Iggy Pop's back once. Congress Theater 2007, Chicago. I jumped on Iggy Pop's back. I touched him. The skin was like leather. All right, we should probably fast forward this. Well, he naked as the day he was born. He came into this world naked, covered in shit. He left this world naked, covered in shit. I'm sorry. I'm so horrible. This is horrible. I mean, he is a big guy. He probably, you know, he's cultivated enough mass where he's throwing his weight around, you know. And that's the thing about being in a mosh pit. You know, it's not about how muscular you are. It's about how much density you have. If you have a good center of gravity, then you can, you know, endure in a pretty rough situation. I mean, listen, I don't want to say that, like, if you're this person and I'm like insulting you, I'm sorry, but like, is there anybody out there who's just like, listen, like, man, I just got 15-minute break from work. Like, I'm just got to listen to fucking GG Allin live at the gas station. It's a historical document for sure. But like, is there anybody who's listening to this for pleasure and just like, yeah, baby, like,
in my bag. You got finger on my fucking bag. Who said I?
Mike over here, right in there.
So that's the sound guy. Remember, the sound guy locked himself up because he's afraid of GG, locked himself up. He's barred himself in there, and the microphone is cut out, and he needs a microphone so they can keep performing, and they get a hold of a mic. I mean, why not turn GG Allin into like, you know, some sort of like slasher, you know, not like a literal slasher, but like some sort of like horror icon. Like, you know, you're trapped in a house and there's like a naked GG Allin covered in shit trying to like knock down the door and get you. He's covered in blood and shit. I mean,
Chicken John is a fucking coward! He's a coward! And a two-faced little fucking liar. Give us a fucking light! Here it is.
oh my God. He's acting like a baby. He's acting like a baby, dude. He's like a misbehaving baby. He's breaking stuff. He's such a little baby. He's breaking stuff. He's rolling around in his feces and blood. He's naked. Oh my God. He's robbing someone. He's thinking he's like cigarettes here.
I got you fucking back.
This is like slapstick comedy. Oh my God. He wants a mic. He's having a tantrum. He's misbehaving. He's the original Karen, dude. I mean, what does he need a mic for? He should just sing if he wants to sing. So then sing. God bless this dude, whoever had the camera and was shooting this, like, God bless you. Like, that we have this captured on tape. Uh-oh. My Twitch account has been temporarily suspended. Reason is because, oh, wow. Suspension length 1 day. Wow. So this stream just got suspended on Twitch. So this is going to be demonetized. So if you're enjoying this stream at all, you could support the channel. Consider supporting the channel in some way, shape, or form. Get it like a sticker or whatever one of those things are. Or sign up for the Patreon. Maybe I'll turn this into a Patreon video. That's probably what's going to happen. This is going to turn into a Patreon video. because I won't be able to keep it public. I'll do some sort of edited down version of it, unfortunately, because this is absolutely going to get demonetized. He's a mad boy. Oh my God, look at him. The guy's like just spritzing him with beer and he's rubbing his wee-wee. He's a little baby. Look at him. He just needs a diaper change. This is kind of like proto Jackass in a weird kind of way. Unreal. Absolutely. Oh, thank you, Winston Smith. That's very nice of you. Thank you for the support, Winston Smith. I appreciate that. You know, Crazy Carl, I agree with you, man. His wee-wee is too small for YouTube to pick up the nudity, but Twitch, they're used to micro penises on there. I mean, maybe that's why GG Allin was so angry. He has micro penis. They're all waiting outside in the courtyard. They're all waiting outside in the courtyard, but they're chanting GG, GG, but they'll do it safely from the courtyard, of course.
We'll be there. There's dope awaiting.
So that he says there's dope waiting, and that's the dope that's going to do him in. Look at that. You see that there's a second camera there. I wonder what happened to that camera source. He said, "Where's Johnny?" Did you hear that? He said, "Where's Johnny?" It's Johnny Puke. See, look at all the cameras that are there. Even in the 90s, it's so crazy, man. Think about how much more cool shit we would have captured on tape if people had cell phones. Like, you can hate on cell phones all you want, like, and I do too from time to time, but God bless them, man, because we've got some really cool stuff as a result. You know, it's so strange to think like a year later, Friends would premiere in New York City. Like Friends and does not overlap with GG Allin. I don't know. I don't know why. I just like thinking about like the 90s. And you know what else is weird when you like think about like the 90s as a whole? Like think about the 90s. Oh my God. I just realized something. Wow. I better hit stop on that. Oh my God, I was recording the entire time. I just did an interview before I did this show, and I had been recording this entire time. So I have like a really long recording on my thing. I'm gonna have to get off. Think about the 90s, how it's divided up. It's really kind of like I guess there's kind of like three eras of the 90s. Like I feel like 90 to like 94 is an era, and then 94 to like 98 is another era, and then like 99 to like 2000 is another era of the 90s. Like they all had different vibes to them in a way. And obviously they're all connected. All those eras are connected by, certain lapse of lack of technology. But it's interesting how like the era of Friends and the era of GG Allin do not overlap. Same thing with like Nirvana. And I don't know, just interesting. Look at him. Look at how he struts. He's just strutting around. Cousin Jody is here. Cousin Jody Ramone. How you doing, buddy? Gigi, you're gonna get in trouble.
I came here to fucking play. Now these motherfuckers are telling me I can't fucking play.
He's like baby Huey. Well, I wanna play. I can't play. Look at he's got his dog collar on. He's naked.
Goddamn fucking ridiculous, man, sir. How's it going, Steve? Feels really good again. You wrote me a really cool. I'm gonna get ass AIDS. Play with my ass. Stick it in there. Yo, have a beer.
I don't know what's going on right now. Mind you, this is like the New York of kids. You know what I mean? This is like kids New York. Like just down a couple blocks is Washington Square Park, and Larry Clark and like Harmony Coyne or whatever his name is. They're like skating at Washington Square Park and like smoking pot and like writing the material that will eventually be kids.
Hey, so what? It was the assholes from this club who fucking.
They won't let us play, man. We'll go in and play for fucking 2 hours. We'll come out here and set up and play.
I came here just to play some man.
Well, I don't blame you. I came here to fucking play. Well, now these motherfuckers tell us we can't play.
Dude, he's got his finger up his butt, man.
Play. Fuck those motherfuckers. I came here to fucking play.
His white shirt is covered in feces. This guy who's like rubbing up on Gigi.
Hello, gorgeous.
Let him play. Let Gigi let him play. Let him play.
It's like he's walking around naked as the day he was born. The sun is slowly dipping on this is his last day on Earth. It is so strange.
Personal thing. Relax, but I'm really pissed off. They won't let us fucking play. I'm tired of people fucking booking the shows and then fucking running out the fucking door.
I mean, it's amazing, dude. It's like so strange. Okay, so they do play one more song because he's still hitting on the thing. I think he hasn't gotten his mic yet.
Now I gotta get it out of me, you know?
This guy is like so aroused by Gigi. He's just like following him around and like whispering in his ear.
Get down, suck my dick. A little bit more.
Dude, he wants it.
We'll go to the gay parade.
I'm trying to relax him.
It ain't gonna fucking work.
Where is this guy today? This guy in this white jumpsuit thing. Where do you think he is today? Like, where is this dude?
I'm trying. You gotta get down. They don't fucking pay around the country. They better fucking pay us because we came here to play.
Because we came here and we fucking did you insane.
Just fucking listen.
I'm fucked up, man. I just came here to fucking do my thing. They ain't letting me fucking do it.
Listen, just play. We'll
I want to play. Suck my dick too.
just off me. We going to the St. Mark's.
He's gone from wanting to play to he just wants people to blow him.
Let's get out of here.
Yeah, you're right. The show is done. I mean, why didn't somebody go down to like a music shop and just pick up a mic real quick? That's so strange. His musical career is over at this point in time. Like, he's never going to play a show again. Not that it's any big loss, but like, you know what I mean? Like, this is the end of his life. It's like so strange. Yeah. Yeah, you're totally right. They don't have any money.
Spirit of freedom. Yo, GG, we're this way. Yo, GG, this way.
I mean, he is. I mean, here's the thing. I said all that stuff before. I mean, he is absolutely like broad daylight, walking down the street, like naked, covered in blood and shit in his boots, and he's about to die. Like, I mean, he is kind of insane. He's an insane dude. But again, like, I pose the question, like, what does that make for artistic integrity? Like, is there any artistic integrity to this? And I just don't think there is. I mean, everything that he does, no matter how shocking, it's all calculated for a reaction. He wants to get this reaction. You know, I think Iggy Pop does things whether he can get a reaction or not, because he just has to do them. I mean, that's insane. That is a dude just doing whatever the fuck he wants on his last day on Earth. He does no idea it's his last day on Earth, and he's just naked, covered in blood. I keep saying that over and over again, but it's like, it really is kind of blowing my mind. And strutting around. Breaking glasses. Oh, the cops are coming. Oh man, he really doesn't. He for a guy who doesn't care about authority, he sure is happy to run away from some cops. Look at that, the cops come and GG suddenly is a shrinking violet. It's kind of funny. It's just so insane. There's like a death clock ticking on this dude's life right now. Like, that's the part that really just boggles my mind.
You want to hear something ironic? Shit that got on me wasn't from him. It was shit that got on fans.
Now some of the girls are coming out.
They're all covering for him.
Just for locals only.
Out of control. Just out of control.
This isn't good.
You gotta get rid of this crowd.
These fuckers.
Let's get in a taxi. We'll get a taxi. Or let's go to, come on.
Like that?
Yeah, we don't get a taxi. Let's go.
Look at this bright-eyed, bushy-tailed girl. Like, has no idea the monstrous, you know, what this guy is monstrously capable of. She's like, let's go get a taxi.
Well, I want to hail the taxi. All right, listen. Woo! Bobby.
Bobby, that's Bobby Ebbs.
Listen, buddy, I'm going to get a taxi.
This is like LA.
Asshole.
Better in LA.
Second best gang hangout list.
Tell me when I'm gonna walk into something.
No, you're fine.
It's amazing. Like, you would think this tape would just be, if GG Allin hadn't died, like, this tape would be insane, but it'd just be like, oh yeah, just a bunch of fly on the wall. It's like, no, you've captured this dude's last day on earth. Like, it's just crazy.
Right here. Okay, do it.
So remember, they get into the cab and the cabbie freaks out and they have to get out and they have to get another cab.
Let's go. It's all right, sir. Let's go.
We're the good guys. We're the good guys.
I don't want to take five. Sir, we'll pay for it. It's all right. Let's go. Officer.
Yes, he's trying to hell down the cops, and they're like, we need to get out of here because this dude was just freaking out. He did not want any part of that.
Get out, get out, get out. Get out.
More cops, hot on the tail. I wonder if that's the girlfriend, the girl with the red.
We want to be here. You didn't want us here 5 minutes ago.
Shoot, man. Yo, you guys don't make it hard. No way.
This reminds me of, like, it's like a Disney fish out of water adventure where the, you know, crazy zany character is walking around with the kids trying to help him, you know, very 90s-esque plot. You know what I mean?
All right, this is worse than Beatlemania.
I know where it is. I got my shit now.
But I've got Johnny's number.
Well, let's go to your house.
Yeah, hey, she's gonna try to get it.
I don't give a fuck. I'm going to China right now.
Wait. Get this taxi right here. Right here.
What is interesting, though, it's, you know, you're hearing one thing that can be said, like, he doesn't realize that there's a camera on him. So what you're hearing is GG Allin as GG Allin. Like, I don't think there's anything, like, before the camera's in on his face and now he's concerned with making a getaway. So he's not really thinking about the camera anymore. So he's just being him. You know what I mean?
GG.
Just you and Liz. Yes, you.
G, until next time.
Liz, right? That was the name of the girlfriend.
Well, fuck you, New York.
Get out of here. It's Beatlemania.
Why can't we get out of here? I'm trying to get arrested here. I'm trying to get out of here.
1 block away.
I just can't get in the cab.
I want to get out of here, guys. Leave me the fuck alone.
Back up.
You got my phone number? It's like they want to watch somebody get into a taxi.
Hey, look.
What the fuck?
Look, we got.
It's blown away by anger.
That ain't good enough. I'm gonna stick around.
Should go back and tape the fucking crowd.
Don't believe me, they'll be pointing you for
Hey, you got it.
Hey, G, I can sell this to the news.
I'm surprised they're not here yet. Yeah,
Fucking great.
this is dynamite.
My parents are going to hear about this, and they know.
I'm not arguing. Hey, I don't come out of my house for much.
GG Allin's just happy to have, like, hanger-oners that are just going to take care of him. That's all he cares about. He's like, yeah, no, I'm covered.
But they're only going to be there till midnight, so
We'll come back.
we're not going to get
Let's just
No,
leave.
I said no jokes, son. It's been.
How's that been?
Look,
Every time I did it, it was real good.
we'll leave this crowd and then we'll go buy our drugs. As soon as we leave the crowd, we'll wait 15 or 20 minutes. We'll
Well,
go
I
get
ain't
the
got
shit
no
we need.
money, but at
We definitely got to
3:30.
Well, we got paid, I hope. I doubt it. We got paid right. Yeah,
That's all for fun.
Yeah.
What do you think his guarantee was? You think he had a guarantee?
Just keep on walking. Just keep on.
Left.
Can we get a cab here?
All right, now we'll get a taxi.
A friend of mine lives around here. I wouldn't say clean, but the clothes.
Well, fuck it. They're cleaner than what I got.
Cleaner than what he's got.
Yeah, I don't have anything.
What was she
All
stealing
my
it for
shit's
you or
back
for
in
him?
St. Mark's, Johnny.
My shit ain't been washed in 2 years.
Yeah, we didn't do that, pal.
No. Just keep on walking. Don't even get involved.
Yeah.
That's your people, not you.
Yeah. I'm
You
good.
know what I mean?
Look at that. Look at these mosquitoes hanging on to this blood encrusted shit demon.
Got a near riot in progress here.
Exactly. Come on. We get that cab quick. Yo, we get
rock and roll, but we
Yo, we get that cab.
It's all over us.
They can't have you, man. They can't have you. Don't worry about
They ain't gonna get me, motherfucker. They'll put me in prison too long already.
Fuck that. They can't have you. Say as soon as I'm back of you, man.
Hey, man, you got some friends. Man, my cool. Now the cops are trying to arrest us and shit. We just did a show. We got all these fucking people following us. I just want to get some dope and get the fuck out of here.
Started something back there, man. Come on.
Okay, we got a cab. Hey.
All right, man. Peace out.
I mean, he really is like if he wasn't GG Allin, he's just like a homeless, dirty, shit encrusted like dope fiend, dope
God
man.
bless, man. Go, get out of here.
Right there, right there, right there.
GG.
It's so strange. Oh, look at that. Look at this little swastika here.
Maybe separate. Go, everybody go in a different fucking direction.
Everyone go follow you, though. I can walk that way, but I'll go follow you.
But see, wait, you know where
You pipe here.
you know where we can't get a
You're the
taxi?
highest power.
Star, you're the rock star.
Come on, everybody.
You're the highest power.
Wait, we got a cab. We got a cab.
Wow, there was 2 camera sources there. All right, so never mind what I said. Maybe he was fully aware.
Wait.
All right, get the hell out of here. Save yourselves.
Let's go.
All right, now close the door. Close the door.
GG, until we meet again.
I live on the Upper West Side.
That dude just made off with like the tape. And that's it. That's the end. That is that was the final footage as far as we know of GG Allin, not the final photos taken, but and the rest is history. So I mean, what do you think of GG Allin and his legacy or lack thereof, his whatever? We talked like several people keep jumping into the stream. I see you, Johnny, saying the early records weren't bad. Yeah, we talked about that. Jabber's record is good. Yeah, it was a good record for sure. That's the end of the show, everybody. Tomorrow, Behind the Chud drops, and if you're a Patreon or a YouTube member, you will know what Behind the Chud is. And yeah, that was interesting to take a stroll down memory lane and sort of look over some of that stuff I hadn't seen, material that I don't think anybody's ever seen, some of it very unreleased. So if you're a Patreon or YouTube member, check that out. Thank you so much. Make sure to like, leave a comment. If this video gets demonetized, I might just put it behind the Patreon and I'll put some clips out. And yeah, that's it. Yeah, that is one thing to say. So GG Allin, in addition to being a vocalist, he was a drummer, and he was apparently a very competent drummer. He plays all the drums on that first Jabbers record. I think, don't quote me on that. So, all right. Peace, hair grease. Catch you next time.